Hi, everyone. My name is Ben Krentzman. We're excited to have you all here today to come and learn a little bit more about Eastern and the kind of college experience that we offer. My name is Ben Krentzman. I'm Associate Director of Admissions at Eastern, and I work as an admissions counselor with some students from the Florida area. I will kick it over to our other counselors here for introductions as well, starting with Fran. How are you doing, Fran?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm so glad to be here today and excited to be able to represent Eastern. My name is Fran Mawusi, and I'm Director of Multicultural Recruitment and Mentoring at Eastern. It's a long title, but basically I just call myself a cheerleader. So I'm glad to be here.
Jordan, how are you?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Jordan Miller. I am a senior admissions counselor here at Eastern. It's been about 4 years now, and I get to work with all of our students in central Pennsylvania over to the western half. And if you are from the West Coast, which you wouldn't be for PACAC, but nonetheless, West Coast students, I also have the privilege of working with.
Awesome. And Nika, how are you this evening?
Hi, Ben. I'm good. Like Ben said, my name is Nika. I am an admissions counselor with Eastern. I work with students all up the East Coast of New England, and then in Pennsylvania, I work with students from Montgomery County and Delaware County.
Great. So that's our team here today. If you are interested in applying to Eastern, your admissions counselor might be represented. If not, reach out to us. You will have an admissions counselor that would be excited to help you through this process, because we know it can be confusing. I am kind of emceeing a little panel with our 3 other counselors here, and I am the person who's trying the technology, and we did it because I'm old and I don't know how to do this well, and we like to challenge ourselves here at Eastern. So I'm going to try to share a video with you guys quick, and we're hoping it really works. So yeah, just a quick little video to kind of introduce who we are to you.
Some say courage is something you're born with. Others say courage is something you find. In every generation throughout history, courage has been celebrated, sought after, needed. It holds the potential for a life of impact. But what if courage isn't just something you hope for or stumble upon? What if courage is something that can be shaped at a place that inspires you, where leaders invest in you, your community believes in you, and your life becomes something bigger than it could ever be alone?
I really like that video, and I really like that video a lot because I feel like it is a good representation of our student body, right? It's a really diverse student body that we have here, but kind of all coming together for one reason. Our motto as a university is faith, reason, and justice. And I think one cool thing about our student body is our community is very tight knit, and it's a community that's interested in helping and serving others. So I just wanted to open up and throw the first question to all of our counselors. What kind of student do you think thrives at Eastern? What kind of student do you think is attracted to the kind of experience that we offer here?
I think you're definitely Eastern is looking for students who believe that they can change their little part of the world. And so when they come to Eastern, they're being prepared to get the skills and talents and experience, even if that's outside of the classroom, so that when they go out into their chosen field, they make a difference. Yeah.
So I attended Eastern as an undergrad, and something that a lot of people talked about often was this idea of broadening your worldview. And it was cool because it came up a lot, but I think a big part of broadening your worldview is coming in and being open to a lot of different opinions. Like Ben said, we have a really diverse community. And so even just as a Christian college, we have a lot of people who are all Christian, but we all share that core foundation of Christ as our Savior. But then we might have different ideas of how our faith plays out. And that's something that I think is really important to be open to when you're coming to Eastern, especially because you're going to come in and you're going to have your faith challenged. Your professors in your classes are going to ask you, have you ever considered why there's genocide in the Old Testament and it looks like God's condoning it, and kind of play devil's advocate in that sense. And so I remember for me, it was a lot of my freshman year, especially, was, whoa, I never thought that. And now I look back and there are definitely different beliefs that are still the same, but I've also, because my worldview's been broadened by getting to study so many different texts or hear so many different opinions, I definitely look back on some of the things that I wrote in my freshman year, like essays, and I think, I can't believe I believed that. So I think be open, because it can be really hard if you come in with really tight fists of everything, to really get that full college experience if you're constantly like, but I don't know if what to do about this or that thought or that thought, but coming and just being like, well, let's explore. My ideas might still be the exact same when I graduate, but at least you were open to looking at things. So I think that's something that's really important to come into Eastern, especially with.
I've always thought Eastern students are selfless. Eastern students want to be good neighbors. Eastern students obviously want to be really good academics. That's what they're paying money for, but they also want to realize that they're a part of a greater context, and that they realize that an education is not just for themselves, but instead it's to be able to bless individuals later in their lives. So yeah, I think Eastern students are selfless.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think with our faith integration, being tied to faith, reason, and justice, and it's a concept of, we're bringing in students of a Christian faith. We are giving them reason and giving them tools to go and make a difference in the world. And I think that's why a lot of students choose us. Nika, I was curious, from your experience, when you were in high school, you were only looking at Christian colleges, if I'm not mistaken. Why was it important for you to choose a Christian college?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I went to a public high school. I grew up in Maine, and Maine is one of the least church states in the nation. So I had a very secular experience, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that was really important for me. But when I was looking at colleges, I noticed that I really wanted to be in a Christian environment, because I hadn't had that experience, and to learn more. I think I knew that there was so much more to learn, and then I didn't know so much, and I definitely was proven right. And that it wasn't just about I want to know everything about the Bible, but just being able to be in an environment where I can pursue what I'm passionate about. I studied dance in undergrad, and that was really cool too, to be able to be in an environment that's Christian, that felt safe, that felt welcoming, where I could explore my faith, but also my faith in my chosen vocation. And especially for dance, it's a little different, in high school, it might be, I don't know if anyone is in this webinar dances at all, but you don't always have the choice of what you're wearing on stage or the movements that you're doing. And so I really wanted to be able to be in a safe space for dance, to explore that, and also just get to, I don't know, it was so special to be around other Christian women, just because that department was primarily female, not to assume, but throughout that experience, and to hear their experiences and to have them encourage me. It wasn't a competitive environment, it was just really encouraging. So especially with dance, I really wanted to experience a Christian education and learn about how those two could work together.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think there's a lot of elements that really make our faith integration different when you compare us to some of our peer institutions. Fran, what are some of the things that you think sets us apart in terms of our faith integration?
Well, when we look at Christian universities, You find that some might require students to attend chapel or to attend spiritual grow groups. And it's not required that you attend chapel nor spiritual grow groups at Eastern. And I think that it's a great way for someone who is owning their faith maybe for the first time in their lives outside of their parents' home and having to go to church as a family. Now they have to do those things for themselves. And so being able to make the choice is important. Some people might not agree with that. However, when you're owning your faith, you have to understand that you're growing in the way that God would have you to grow, and you're going to have to follow the leading of the Spirit as the Spirit allows you to grow, and no one can do that for you. But the great thing is that you could walk into a classroom and you'll have professors there who will start the class off with devotional or a time of reading scripture. And I know when I teach freshman orientation, I start off with kind of like my cell phone in one hand with what I just read from CNN and our text, because we want to make it relevant. So I think that makes Eastern different in that respect. Yeah.
Yeah, and it all really ties into our campus life experience, because like you said, there's a lot more to it than just connecting it academically, right? Jordan, you were really involved with a lot of different things at Eastern. You like to grab life by the horns. So what kind of things were you involved with when you were at Eastern? What different activities or clubs would you like to share about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a part of the baseball team for 4 years here. I was a member of the Leadership Fellows program at Eastern. And then there were various clubs that I was involved in. A couple of them I was involved all 4 years. Others might have just been a little more sporadic. I was a part of the art club for a little while. I was involved in Latinos Unidos here on campus. The Enactus Club, which is a business organization nationwide, and I'm pretty sure worldwide, but we have a chapter here at Eastern. I was involved in FCA here at Eastern. So a bunch of different things. I think college is so unbelievably important to get outside of your comfort zone. And if there is a club or organization that's mentioned and you say, "Hoy, I don't think that's me," maybe that's the exact one that you need to try that weekend and learn from somebody who comes from a different background, comes from a different community. And I mean, I left Eastern just being so thrilled about those opportunities. Learning's important in the classroom, but learning's really important as well outside of the classroom.
Absolutely. And we have a ton of opportunities for multicultural activities too. And Fran, as the Director of Multicultural Recruitment at Eastern, would you like to share about some of the different extracurricular activities available for students interested in being involved in multicultural activities?
Sure. There's a lot of different clubs and groups and organizations and initiatives. But the one thing that I always like to make known to students as they're entertaining coming to Eastern, and this would be for all students, is that although these clubs might be support clubs for different ethnic groups and different areas that may be of interest to people of color, they're open to everyone. You can join Latinos Unidas, as Jordan was saying. You know, if you want to join a group this weekend, if you want to go hang out with the Black Students League, go hang out with the Black Students League. If you want to join, because the clubs are open and it allows those who may be from like the dominant culture to learn more about that group. And so that's what I think is unique and really great about the programs. But there is a number of programs. There's Latinos Unidas, wonderful clubs that are geared to just supporting students of color and allowing them to continue to kind of engage in growing in that as well as growing academically. And then you have the Black Students League. You have the Multicultural Student Initiatives, and that's led by our Multicultural Student Advisor. And she oversees that group. And what they do is they kind of take the pulse of the university to find out what's going on, find out if there's areas where the community at large could do better or learn or kind of engage in conversation or dialogue to be able to understand each other better. And then there's the Caribbean Students Club. I love that. I just love the dancing part of that. There's a natural hair club. Go figure. Natural hair. Yeah, I do that. So natural hair club, spoken word club. I've been the advisor for the spoken word club. I've been the advisor for the mime and dance ministry at Eastern. And then I oversee as the director of the mentoring program for students of color. And so if you come to Eastern, you have the opportunity to take advantage of being a part of the indoor mentoring program. And that's where upperclassmen mentor freshmen, and freshmen and upperclassmen are mentored by faculty, staff, and administration. So when you come in and you feel like, you know what, I think I need someone to kind of walk alongside me for a semester or two, we have that. We have that support for you. And so you can join the mentoring program. Someone will walk alongside you, and that's pretty much what we say. They're going to walk alongside you. They're not going to pull you. They're not going to push you necessarily, but they're going to walk alongside you for about a semester so that you can get acclimated to Eastern and college life in general. Yeah.
Awesome. And the activities and clubs we have on campus definitely provide a lot of context and flavor to our college experience and who we are. But I think just as much, our proximity to Philadelphia really provides a unique identity to who we are. So I want to share one more video. Let's see if I can technology correctly again. All right. Hopefully you guys can see that. I want to share a video about us being near Philly.
There's something special about the Philadelphia area. There's a grit, an authenticity, a camaraderie. There's a reason we're called the city of brotherly love. Philadelphians work, play, cheer, celebrate, and love with passion. There's something about our city's identity that is perfect for shaping men and women of courage and confidence. For 95 years, Eastern University has offered the collegiate dream in the Philadelphia suburbs while extending its reach into the heart of the city. With the charm of our suburban campus and the energy of the Philly experience at your fingertips, there's no better place to call home. If you're a Philly local, maybe everything you've been looking for is right outside your front door. A college where you can spread your wings while remaining connected to your roots. And if you're from out of town, the city of brotherly love welcomes you with open arms. This is Philly. This is Eastern University.
And I really like that video because I'm somebody who came from Florida up to Pennsylvania for their college experience. Nika, you mentioned you came from Maine. Tell everyone about Philadelphia and why you thought it would be fun to spend your collegiate experience in this area.
It's fun because I did not see myself as the student going far away from home. I was definitely thinking that I would either be, I thought I was going to be in the Boston area, 2 hours away from Maine, close to home. But I wanted a Christian school that had dance, and there are 6 in the country, and Eastern is the closest one to Maine. So I remember when I found Eastern online, I was like, oh, I love this place. And then I was like, it's in Pennsylvania. What am I don't know if I want to go to Pennsylvania. So we came down and we visited, and I remember saying to my mom, because she always likes to mention this, she says, we were halfway there, we stopped in New York, and I was like, this is far away. And she was like, oh no, she's going to hate it. This isn't going to work. And when we visited campus, it felt like home. It didn't feel like I was on a college tour anymore. It felt like I was visiting the college I was going to go to. I can't explain it other than that of just this felt really right to me. And I remember we were going to visit another college the next day. And I said to my mom, I was like, I'm done looking. Can we just go home? And she was like, we came to Pennsylvania. We're visiting the other schools. So I just think it's really cool because 8 hours away, I did not go home on the weekend. So I had to get used to living on campus, making a lot of friends, but so many people, it felt like home when I visited campus, and that feeling didn't go away when I moved in. I had so many friends who were locals who would take me home for the weekends or just show me around. I still get in trouble with my friends for not being like as excited about Wawa as I should have been. Like they're always like, Nika hates Wawa. I'm like, I don't hate it. I just didn't see the special aspect of it the first time I tried it, but now I appreciate Wawa. So there you go.
Yeah,
Main
Wawa.
on Philly.
Yeah, Wawa's worth it. Fran, you work with students on the flip side. You work with all of our students who come from Philadelphia. Why do students who live in Philadelphia choose Eastern?
Probably for kind of the same reasons Nika was sharing. She was initially thinking about staying close to home and probably, didn't want to go far, wanted to stay with family or what have you. And so there's students in Philadelphia that want to stay close to home. And it's just the right mix, because then you're away from home, but you're close enough where you can get home in 45 minutes or an hour. And then you still feel like you're away. And so sometimes it's a hard sell for parents, because they were like, you can stay home because you're close enough to be home. But it's like a completely different world, for a student. If you live in the inner city and you come out to the suburbs and you're on this campus, 90 acres of just sheer beauty, it's a whole different world. And so you get comfortable there. Like Nika said, when you come, you just feel like this is home. And so I think for those reasons, and of course we can never, discount our programs. Our programs are stellar. So when I talk about nursing, when I'm in Philadelphia, students get excited because, I talk about what a quality program we have, as well as some of the other majors. And so those draw students from Philadelphia as well. But I think it is close proximity. It's our programs, and it's the beautiful campus, I think, that really draws students from Philadelphia.
Absolutely. And it definitely flavors our campus life, just because no matter what you're interested in, there's something that you are interested in doing in Philadelphia. But our university was really built on the hands-on opportunities that we're able to offer our students based on the proximity to the city. Jordan, would you like to share at all about the internship opportunities and the different things like that our Career and Development Center can help students with?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to start this with a pretty bold claim. You might not have heard this before. Internships are important. Internships are incredibly important, right? Future employers are not going to care, most likely, about what your GPA is. They care about success in a general sense, and they care about what kind of opportunities you're bringing in your pocket. Most of our programs here at Eastern, most of our academic programs are going to require you to have an internship before graduation. It's roughly 85% of our students this last year graduated with at least one internship, and we encourage students to take on more than one if possible. As both Fran and Nika mentioned, being located outside of Philadelphia is such a blessing, and it's very much so for internships. We have a location where there are things happening around us, and Eastern has a really good name in the community, where possible future employers and definitely places of realistic internships are going to want to hand over the reins to an Eastern student and give them opportunities. We have a wonderful, wonderful center for career development here on campus, but then we also have professors in each major that are going to take the time to be able to work with students and help them figure out what maybe some of the best opportunities are. Our search is certainly complemented by Handshake. Handshake is a third-party platform that Eastern uses to find opportunities in the area, within the state, and then nationally. Lots of employers post things, and a lot of really great professional development skills are learned there. And then also Campus Philly Careers is a really good publication as well for our students. But ultimately, you're going to have a professor in your ear pretty much year 1 through year 4, really, really helping you understand that, hey, we can't graduate without one of these.
Yeah, and I think just as importantly at Eastern as the ability to get into our backyard, do some of those fun things, is the ability we have at Eastern to go abroad. And there's lots of great study abroad programs that we have at Eastern, and would anyone like to talk about some of the experiences they've seen our students do or that they've done themselves?
I'll just start because I was not able to study abroad. So we'll get the not so fun stories out of the way. Just that I couldn't because of my major, but all of my friends did. To the point that I was like, I need to go somewhere before I graduate. So spring break, I went to Italy for a week just to experience the culture. I think, earlier we talked about broadening your worldview, and most students take advantage of that. I wish I had been able to.
Yeah, you have all your life to travel, right? But you only have a couple of years to study in another country, more likely. I had the opportunity to go down to Mexico. It was the absolute time of my life. Really great education, really wonderful people. Also, not something that everybody's going to tell you, but depending on the country, depending on the university, study abroad can actually save you money in the long run for a semester. I'd be more than happy to chat about that later, but there's lots of really great opportunities. We want students to be able to travel if that's on their heart.
Awesome. And I do think that part of that experience of like broadening your horizons definitely coincides with the liberal arts education. And for those of you who aren't familiar with a liberal arts education and what that concept is, we're a liberal arts college, and that means that even if you are a science major, you'll have to take some history classes, or you could be a student in a particular subject, but we want to give you a well-rounded breadth of an academic experience. So, Fran, could you speak a little bit about a liberal arts education and the benefit it provides to students?
Sure. I always talk about, because my majors in undergrad was marketing, I always talk about how to market yourself. And I think that when you have a liberal arts degree and you have a full major at a accredited university, one that has a good reputation, then you can kind of call your shots. And that's why we have such a strong placement rate once you graduate, because you have that liberal arts component. You can, and I'm using this word with students now as I explain why it's a good idea to major and minor or double major, because if you have to pivot, right, like a lot of us have had to do due to the pandemic, you'll be able to pivot. And then with this liberal arts degree that you're going to have when you graduate, where you're taking classes right alongside your major, if you get into a situation in the workplace and you have to pivot, you have to go in another direction, maybe the place closes down or what have you, you'll be able to do that because your liberal arts degree will give you the tools that you need. You can go into your tool bag and you say, I took a psychology class. I know enough about it to do this job, at least for now. So it makes you marketable. And it also adds a little bit of security in terms of just job placement and being able to pivot and do what needs to be done if it should need to be done. I like to say, students they explore, as I mentioned earlier, that I teach freshman orientation every now and then. And I usually have the undecided students. And I encourage them to take classes. And they say, well, I don't want to waste time. You're not wasting time, because that class will go towards your liberal arts requirements. And so students get a chance to explore. While they're exploring and figuring out and discerning what they're going to do, they're actually gaining, a little bit more, because it's making them more well-rounded, but they're not wasting time. They're not wasting credits because of the liberal arts component to your education. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it really lets students do something they're passionate about. And Nika, as you mentioned, you're passionate about dance. You also work with several students who are coming in, looking at majoring in performing arts areas at Eastern. Could you briefly share a little bit about the performing arts programs we have?
Yeah, I love working with all our performing arts students just because I was one of them. I think what's great, going off of what Fran was saying, how getting a liberal arts degree, you come out multifaceted. I think that's a great way of feeling a bit more confident about pursuing an arts degree specifically. So it's not just for students in the arts, same for me. I was like, I'm majoring in dance. I had those moments where I was like, what am I doing with my life? But you're graduating not from a conservatory where it's just dance, dance, dance. I hurt my foot in my junior year of college, and it wasn't just a complete waste of an educational experience because I had other classes that I was taking too, like basic counseling skills, which is a technique you can use anytime, all the time with friends or talking with students. So it's definitely, I think there's some security, like Fran said, in doing a liberal arts degree with the arts. For the arts specifically, what I love about Eastern is that um, the arts here will meet you where you're at, and also it's for everyone. So if I came in, my passion is performance, and I really wanted my professors to push me. So my freshman year, my ballet professor was chasing me across the floor, and it was kind of terrifying, but great because she was pushing me technically, and that's what I wanted. But you're also going to have the person who just wants to be taking a dance class for the fun of it, or just playing in concert band because they've played their trumpet their entire life and they don't want to give it up. So you can really come in and say, I'm a beginner and I just want to like try this, to like, I want to go pro, and Eastern's going to help me get there, which is great because it's just a very inclusive environment. Specifically, we have music, dance, and theater. Music and dance both have scholarships with them. The music program specifically has really, really big music scholarships from an endowment, because we found an original Mozart and an original Beethoven in one of our buildings that they were renovating. So you can receive up to full tuition scholarships if you decide to be a music student. There are tons of different concentrations for performance to education that you can check out. With music, for dance, it's a very general education, which is great because you're not just taking technique classes all day, you're also learning about how to choreograph, modern dance history, how to teach dance, things like that. And then the theater department is brand new. So, or at least the major is. The department's been around for a while, but they this year have declared their major official, and there's a lot of opportunities for students to come in and explore theater from a Christian perspective specifically. All of the programs are great because you're not just with liberal arts, you're getting a well-rounded degree, and the same thing within the arts programs. You're not just the artist and that's what you do. Like, I just dance. I had to learn how to lay the floor that we call Marley down. I had to learn how to hang the lights. You have to do tech requirements as a student. So you come out and, like Fran said, if something's not working out where there aren't necessarily performance jobs available, I could say, hey, I can do tech director for a show or something because I have that experience. So I really like that about arts, and I could keep going, but if you want to chat more about it, I would love to talk.
Yeah. And Jordan, we can pivot from arts to business to at Eastern, right? Like biology, chemistry, pre-med, engineering. There's so many things that students can study here. What are your big takeaways you'd like to share from the classroom experience at Eastern?
Yeah, so if you're with us this evening, you're probably a high school student, and ultimately the end goal of high school academics, in a major sense, and it might be a little sad, is that the higher the grades you receive, the more scholarship money you earn. College isn't the same way. You can get a 4.0, and that does not guarantee a certain amount of success after college. It's what you learn. It's not the grade that you receive. And our professors do an awesome job of really putting that at the forefront here at Eastern. I'd have professors, I would show up to an 8 o'clock class and be a little sleepy because it was an 8 o'clock class, and professors just reminding us that this class is not to get an A in. That's not your end goal. You shouldn't even be considering how do I just use this for this semester and then kind of push it aside. But in reality, you're supposed to be thinking someday you are going to be an employer somewhere, or an employee somewhere. Someday you are going to be involved in a church and in a greater community. You're going to have a family of your own. And there's a lot of things to be learning in the classroom that you're able to apply to those areas of your life. And I had 4 years of being able to do it. Lots of professors want to have meaningful conversations about next steps and how you're able to utilize the skills that you're going to be taking from their classroom, but then they also want to be there for every step of the ride. I have professors at 4 years after graduation. I have a couple of professors that still check in on probably a monthly basis. And that means a lot. You want to be able to have people that you can go to with questions, sure, but you also want to be able to go to people that you know are going to be there as possible mentors, or just, even at least just friends, people who want to be there for your successes, and also people who want to be there for when you're struggling, to be able to help you graduate with a certain level of excellence.
Awesome. Yeah, and there's so much to do in college, right? And one of the things that a lot of students I talk with struggle with is how to do it all, right? So I wanted to show one more video about something unique that Eastern has that helps our students do it all.
What if there were a way to make college faster, easier, and more affordable? Eastern University FastPass gives you 2 tuition-free online summer classes for every residential year you study with us. This makes it possible for you to graduate in 3 years, lighten your course load, or double major. Here's what it looks like. Chloe is a pre-med student. Her dream is to be a doctor, but she knows it will take many years of work and a lot of financial resources to make that happen. Thanks to Eastern University FastPass, Chloe can graduate in 3 years instead of 4. She'll save a year in her life, she'll save thousands of dollars, and the free summer classes will lower her stress as she studies by the pool, at the beach, or while sipping a frozen latte at her favorite coffee shop. It's a win-win-win. Nick is a starting forward on Eastern's soccer team. He loves to play, but it's hard taking 5 classes every semester. With Eastern University FastPass, Nick can reduce his load during the school year to only 4 classes each semester, then catch up online over the summer. This keeps him free to lead his team all the way to the championship, while still graduating on time. Reducing your course load is also a great option for students with jobs because, let's face it, we can't all play in the MLS like Nick. Brianna wants to double major. She loves business, but she also loves psychology. Eastern University FastPass makes it easier for Brianna to graduate on time with both majors, since she can take a normal load each semester and catch up on any extra classes online over the summer. Brianna will graduate with 2 majors, without paying an extra dime. Now, that's a sweet deal. Sound too good to be true? You're not dreaming. You're cruising through college the Eastern University FastPass way. Graduate in 3 years, lighten your course load, or double major. Contact one of our helpful admissions counselors today to learn more.
So that's pretty neat. Jordan, you played college baseball. What would you have done with an awesome program like FastPass?
Yeah, so how he phrased that question, this was not a program when I was at Eastern, and it would have been incredibly helpful. Imagine violin music in the background, sad, sad music at the moment. And I'm going to paint a picture. 1 semester, 6 classes, 18 credits. A couple of jobs that same semester. Both parents lost their employment in the same week, and so trying to make things work out. Part of a couple of different clubs, organizations, and that was also the semester where I took on a different level of involvement in a local church. There would be 4 a.m. mornings where I'm finishing up homework and I need to get to the gym so that I don't oversleep a 6 a.m. workout. And we've all had these kinds of experiences as individuals with education where it's easy to look back at a day, at a week, possibly a full semester, and you can appreciate it. Did you enjoy every second of it? Right? I wasn't able to look at that semester and enjoy every second of it. Very few seconds, honestly. And so FastPass is a really great resource, a huge blessing for our students to, again, either finish early or just to make life a little easier, to be able to have a measure of excellence in everything that you're doing is incredibly important. So we're excited that our students are able to take advantage of it.
That's awesome. And we're closing in on our time here. But before we go, I did want to have Fran speak on one thing. Fran wears so many hats around here, and one thing that she's very talented with is the financial aid piece. She's a certified FAFSA coach. Fran, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to speak to anyone listening regarding some strategies to help making affording Eastern or another school a little more palatable.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, working with your admissions counselor is going to be the best thing that you can do when it comes to financial aid. We're admissions counselors. We share it with you today, FastPass. So I would take the ball and run with it, and that's what you're going to have to do in a lot of cases. But the first thing you should do is to apply for FAFSA. So show of hands, how many of you have applied for FAFSA? I see you. I see that hand. I see that hand. Okay. Well, good, because you need to apply for FAFSA in order to qualify for any of the aid at the schools, right? But it's also important to apply for FAFSA early so that you can take advantage of all of the opportunities that you might have with financial aid, like federal work study, right? And then also being in a position where the schools where you're accepted to can retrieve your information and put together your financial aid award letter. But definitely work with the admissions counselor, apply to all the scholarships that they recommend that you apply to. They know better, they know what you should do. Some students will sit on scholarships after being advised to do it, and then at the last minute it's like, oh gosh, I should have did that, and the scholarship has closed. So definitely work early to do things and get them done, and work with your parents. You don't want them to be in the dark. You don't want them to have to figure out at the last minute how you're going to make things work. So take advantage of everything that there is out there. Look for outside scholarships because they are out there. There are a bunch of websites and apps now that will help you, like Scully. You definitely want to look at those things, fastweb.com.org. You want to take advantage of those websites so that you can make college as affordable as possible. And then finally, don't be afraid to make hard decisions, right? If it means that you're not in that suite and you're in the regular dorm, then do it, because it's going to be easier for your family. If it also means that you commute, right, instead of staying on campus, commute. Because the bottom line is that you want a degree, right? And you want to probably walk away with the least amount of debt as possible. So you may have to make some hard decisions, but make the decisions fast and make sure that you're doing everything in a timely manner. I hope that.
Yeah, that's great. And especially the FAFSA piece, it's so critical. It'll help you whether you go to Eastern or not. But there's cool things at Eastern that'll help you get to, right? Like we have our total tuition award for students in the state of Pennsylvania. And you might qualify for that, which is full tuition and grants and scholarships. So there's a lot of ways that we look to work with all students to make sure Eastern can be as affordable as it can be for them. Looks like we got 2 minutes left. We timed this up pretty good. The moderator must be fantastic. Real quick before we time out, does anyone have any quick questions they'd like to ask from the group? Any closing words of advice from our sage counselors regarding the college search process before we let everyone go?
I just want to say, enjoy the journey. It's an exciting time. You want to take it all in because this is probably the only time you're going to do this, right? So definitely enjoy the journey, take it all in, and take notes, because after a while, everything is like a blur. You don't know where you were and what you remember, about that school. So take notes, but enjoy the journey.
Definitely just ask questions if you don't know the answer to something. It's really okay. And that's why we're here to help. So please ask your admissions counselor questions. We never feel like you're a bother, because that's why we're here. And also, shameless plug, follow us at Eastern University Admissions on Instagram for fun updates and giveaways and scholarship information. So shameless plug at Eastern University Admissions.
Our Instagram is great.
It's poppin'.
Cool. Great. Well, I guess that does it. We really appreciated everyone's attendance, and we'll look forward to hearing from you. Please reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you.
Yes, thank you so much, friends from Eastern. All of you guys did a wonderful job. I'm just going to share my screen. I'm Andrea with PACAC, your lovely host for today. And of course, I'm trying to share my screen at the same time some emails are coming through, so it might not work. But again, thank you everyone for joining us. Just a couple things. You can find this recording and all recordings of all of our sessions at pacac.org/virtual. So definitely make sure that you come back if you want to see the Eastern recording again. And you can also sign up for more sessions. We have more sessions between now and November 6th that you can still attend live. And all of those are on pacac.org/virtual as well. Thank you again to my friends from Eastern, and thanks to all the students who are here. Have a great night, everybody.